Hey, good morning, y'all. I'm going to do borderline personality disorder today for one of the personality disorders that are out there. This one I'm very familiar with having somebody near and dear to my heart that has been diagnosed with this. Generally speaking, this diagnosis comes from trauma. It comes from repeated trauma, and some of the things that I think that actually contribute to this is when people are put through trauma at such a young age. 90% of the time their personality, their soul fragments itself, and sometimes some of them fragments break off, and that fragment will become a personality big enough to take over. And so I think that's how you kind of get multiple personalities, is the soul has to fragment to protect itself during trauma, be it being molested, raped, or even in a house that, say, there's a lot of abuse, yelling, screaming, an abusive family member that tends to abuse others around. It's as a child, that's traumatizing, so they have to do these things in order to protect their soul from dying, literally. So a borderline personality disorder is a chronic condition that causes a variety of symptoms. People with borderline personality disorder may experience at least 5 of the following symptoms over time. Extreme mood swings that can last for hours or days, and an intense anger that can be difficult to control. I liken it to flipping a light switch. The hardest part of dealing with a borderline personality disorder, and this is one on the spectrum that doctors don't like to deal with. We learned that real quick in nursing school. They don't like to deal with them because they are manipulative. With the borderline personality disorder, the person that has it, for me, it's like a light switch. They will come in like a bomb, blow up, explode, and cause chaos in the home, and then they're over it, but everybody else is left smoldering and mad, and they don't understand why they're still upset. That's that personality that pops out and comes back in. Relationships, unstable relationships with friends and family that can quickly shift from closeness to anger and hatred. People with borderline personality disorder may also have a rigid view of relationships, seeing them as either perfect or doomed. There's a lot of fear based things in this personality disorder. Self-image, an unstable sense of self that can lead to sudden changes in goals, values, or behaviors. People with BPD may feel good about themselves at times, but other times they may hate themselves or view themselves as just horrible people. Other symptoms: feeling of emptiness, disassociation, or paranoia, as well as impulsive or risky behaviors. That this personality has a tendency to be overlooked, and a lot of times they'll say, oh, that person's bipolar, and they won't be bipolar at all. But they do carry a lot of, like I said, a lot of these end up having several other factors in: depression, anxiety, paranoia, dissociative. They disassociate their self, and you'll see when they're in the midst of trauma, them literally disassociate their self in front of you. They will go off into a blank stare or just into another world, and they won't even be there because they are literally in their space somewhere else. Other symptoms: feelings of emptiness, disassociation, or paranoia, as well as impulsive or risky behaviors. Also, sometimes they may take on habits. Maybe they eat a lot, or they binge eat, or maybe for them, I think one of the reasons, shopping, or it could be alcohol, drugs. A lot of these personality disorders, they tend to self-medicate themselves. They're trying to feel better within their self. So a medical professional can diagnose BPD and help manage their symptoms through treatments like talk therapy. The person that I know, so it's often that we have to be really well alert. There's a lot of suicidal tendencies with these people. The other thing is medications don't generally help. This is a personality. So we have to remember that this is a personality. I think the best thing is a lot of love, and talk therapy also helps. And they do better around a positive environment, someplace where they're positive. These people tend to stay in the same job for a lifetime. They need stability and they need structure in their life in order to be successful. So some of the other things that go along with this is chronic anger, feelings, you know, they will cut you off in a minute. So if you've upset them, you'll know quickly because they will block you. They will just shut you out and shut you off. So everything looks like anger, even though it might be pain, or it might be hurt, or it might be sorrow. You will see them angry about a lot of things. They exhaust very quickly because of having to keep their self together. A functioning borderline personality can function, but they're exhausted. By the end of the day, they're wiped. They sleep a lot or tire out often because they need that rest, because it takes everything they have to be in a public environment. They're saying that a lot of these things, the reason what triggers them are environmental, cultural, and social factors. They report experiencing traumatic life events such as abuse, abandonment, or hardships during childhood. Others may have been exposed to unstable, invalidating relationships or conflicts. So they don't do conflict very well. The 9 symptoms that are shown listed for this is fear of abandonment. So they have a huge fear of not being loved or not being wanted. They're terrified of being abandoned or left alone. Unstable relationships, unclear or shifting self-image, impulsive or self-destructive behaviors. That would be, like I said, binge whatever. Binge shopping, binge eating. It could be dabbling in different drugs or what have you, depending. Alcoholism. These are all things, self-medication to make yourself feel better. Some even experience self-harm, cutting. They don't have, maybe they sleep around, extreme emotional swings, mood swings, chronic feelings of emptiness, and explosive anger that, and rarely will you find a borderline personality person to come and say that they're sorry. It's like a split personality. They don't realize that they've harmed or caused an upset, and so they don't know what they should be sorry for. There's also a lot of memory lapses in these personality disorders. They cannot remember things that have happened in their past. And we can say, don't you remember? But they really don't, because that personality during that trauma, another part of themselves stepped up to protect the rest of them from the trauma that was going on. So they really don't remember. They don't have a clue. So this takes a lot. There's a therapy that in Deliverance that I do, which is looking at the ages of trauma that somebody went through, and realizing that Christ was enough and died on the cross for them, and bringing that personality back together to and let them know that they're safe, it's okay, and that they're loved. I think that that's the biggest support that we can do. This personality disorder wears down the family and causes family members to be wore out during their times of trauma. So it takes a lot of love, and I pray that if you know somebody, that you would support them and just be there and understand that it's not your fault that they are blowing up, and understand that there has to be healthy boundaries put in place with this personality in order for all parties to be able to be successful in the relationships. I pray this helps somebody today, and I hope that you'll study borderline personality disorders. There are several borderline personality disorders traits down the line, so we'll get into others later. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.